Hey there, Oliver. This is John, your guitar teacher. Today we're going to talk about something called the 12-bar blues. Right above my hand, I want you to see the chord progression I wrote there. So it says E, and then there's a little A in parentheses. Sometimes we're going to use that A, sometimes we're not. Today we're going to use it. We're going to go E, A, E, and we're going to play E for 2 measures. Then we're going to play A again for 2 measures, then back to E. Then we're going to play B7 for a measure, then A, and then E. Then we're going to play B7 to turn it around. So we're going to go E. Don't look at the ones below. E, A, E, 2, E, 2, 3, 4. Then A, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, back to E. 3, 4, E, 2. And then B7, and then A, and then E. And then the B7 gets to go back to the beginning. Okay. Now I'm going to play that with this guitar I got right here. I'm going to set this right here like that. And hopefully you'll be able to see me, okay? I want to see if we can play this together. If you didn't take a second to write down that progression so you have a picture of it in front of you, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea. Even a little piece of scrap paper is going to be able to make it work out. Okay, so I'm going to make sure you can see my fretting fingers, right? And let's make sure you know all these chords. If you don't, you should look them up. The internet is fantastic. But to remind you, E, we're going to have a first finger on the first fret of the G string, right there. The other two, these two fingers, are going to go on the second frets of the A string and the D string, okay? And I'm going to play it for 4 beats, kind of like this. Bass, drum. That's 4 beats, okay? Then I'm going to change to A. Check it out. Here we go. Second line, A. 2 measures, then E. Now here comes a B. Here comes an A. And here comes an E. Okay, if any of that was hard, and maybe it was, you should pause the video and work on a couple of those little things. If maybe the problem was that you didn't remember the progression, you should go get a little piece of paper and write down what I put at the beginning of the video. I'll remind you real quick. We're going to play E for a measure, then A, and back to E for 2 measures until we reach the end of the first line. The second line starts on an A for 2 measures and back to E. And that will go to B7, which you might remember, then A, and then E. So they call this the 12-bar blues. It's a basic seed form of a lot of American music, a lot. You find it in rock and roll, you find it in country music, you find it in folk music, you obviously find it in the blues. It's basically the root of the roots, okay? It's really good stuff. So there's a lot of other stuff we can do with it, but I don't want to get too fancy. I just want to kind of focus on remembering the change and remembering how to switch through it, okay? One thing that I think is helpful in remembering my timing is I play a bass note and then a strum. That's half a measure. There's one. There's another. Back to E. It's also good practice to find those bass strings with your pick. So many songs are written on it, I can't pick one out, but here's one I got. Meet me in the morning, 56th and Wabasha. Meet me in the morning, 56th and Wabasha. Morning we could be in Kansas by the time the snow begins to thaw. Okay, so that's your 12-bar blues in E. Check it out. I went ahead and wrote out the 12 bar blues in 2 more keys, right? Here it's in G. So we're going to go G to C to G for 2 measures. Then back to C. Then back to G. Then we're going to go D to C to G. Then we use D as a turnaround chord and start over again. Okay, so on the piece of paper where you wrote down the E change, and if you didn't do that, that's a good idea. You could get 3 pieces of paper or 1 big piece of paper like this and write it out in 3 different keys. I want you to write it in E. I want you to write it out in G, just like this, and then write it out in D as well. Okay, so take some time, make some lines and notes. Notice when I say 12 bar blues, that's because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Start again. That's why they call it 12 bar blues. A bar is a measure. A measure is 4 beats. So I just played it for a while in E. Why don't you take a second and pause the video, make sure you have everything written down. And any chords you don't know, you can either look up or you can watch me, and I'll describe them to you as we go, but I think we know most of these. So now I'm going to pick up the guitar. I'm going to play a couple times around in the G blues. Then I'm going to play a little bit in the D blues. I might not have a song I sing for each one of them because, I don't know, I don't really feel like singing that much today. But I'm going to go ahead and play G blues. Ready? Here we go. Here's a little bit of G. Let me start that over again. I forgot about my quick change. We don't always use the change in the second bar, but when we do, we call it a quick change. Here we go. Don't worry about getting fancy with it. I have a feeling there'll be a lot of questions you'll have about how to use a pick and how to strum. That's totally fine, and I don't expect you to be able to cover absolutely everything right away. But I would like to practice changing your left hand fingers at the right times in the rhythm. Okay, so that was a G. Now I'm going to play one in D, okay? Unlike everybody else, D is our first chord, right? We're going to go to G right away. Now that one wasn't fair. I sped up the timing and I didn't really tell you. So I'm going to try to do that again a little slower without messing you up. Also, I want to mention that A, right, our A chord, turns into A7 just by taking the note out in the middle. See that? And I can play A, or I can play A7 when I'm playing D blues. Either one works. Sometimes you'll see me play A with one finger like this, where I'm just holding down these 3 strings with one finger, and I'm not really playing the highest string. Sometimes I'll do that absent-mindedly, and I just wanted you to know. Okay, here's D blues again. I'm going to do it a little slower. There's a lot more to talking about playing the blues than just that. But that song form, the order of those chords in E and in G, and in D are all up forms that are accessible to you with the chords you know. And I think more excuses to play the chords you know in patterns and counting and knowing when you're supposed to change is exactly what you should be doing right now and where you are as a guitarist. Okay, I hope you have a great week. That's my little video lesson for you. I hope it worked out. And let me know what worked out for you and what didn't when I see you next time. Okay? Okay, bye.